Hello and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Pyrana Prime, which is obviously the Prime variant of the Pyrana. Now the reason this video is actually so late is because I've been trying out a variety of different builds just to see if I can actually find a way in which I genuinely enjoy this weapon. It is a good weapon, I just don't like it simply because of its little quirk. Basically, if you kill 3 enemies rather quickly, or in quick succession, as it is actually described, you basically enter an akimbo form. It has double ammunition, a higher firing speed, and the overall DPS of the weapon is vastly improved, which for mid to low level missions, well, low to mid level missions, this is perfectly fine. But the moment you start getting into higher missions, like Sortie, for example, the weapon itself doesn't really kick out enough damage to be able to activate the akimbo, which is where you really would actually like to have the akimbo. And onto the stats of the weapon. It is a mastery rank 13 weapon. Obviously it's a secondary. It does have an okay fire rate. It's at 4 rounds per second. This is even better when in akimbo. It has a 12 round magazine with a maximum ammo of 210. It's got a pretty quick reload of 1.6 seconds and a 4-point riven disposition, so getting a riven for this thing could be very well worth it, mostly to help bolster up that damage so that at high levels you can enter the akimbo form. It has a grand total of 240 damage at base, and about 200 of that is pure slash. And technically speaking, it is a shotgun that fires 12 pellets per shot. Adding multi-shot is just fun. Has a very high critical chance at 24%, with a pretty darn good critical multiplier at 2.2 and a slightly lower status chance at 12%. Perhaps if this was 15%, this game could go or scale just that little bit higher, but what are you gonna do? Now, the overall effect of this weapon and how viable it is actually pretty darn good. It does work, especially for the star chart, and it will certainly carry you through Sortie 1 and 2. However, Sortie 3 will be a bit of an issue, especially if they are within the void, or if they have something along the lines of Eczema Stronghold or augmented armor, or even shields. That is when it will start to suffer, and it does show. If you can get the akimbo up, the weapon does perfectly fine, and is capable, due to the high fire rate and DPS counter of the weapon, it can go through quite a lot of high level enemies. But the fact remains that at those high levels, it's increasingly difficult to get this weapon to do just that. So overall, yes, this is a very good weapon. If you're planning on taking this weapon above and beyond, not so much. I would definitely recommend a riven, perhaps going for damage, multi-shot, status chance. If you're really wanting, you can go for the standard, which is crit, and crit will definitely serve it well, particularly if you can get it above 100%, which I can't imagine being too difficult, especially if you have some of the prime critical mods. But overall, really, this weapon does just start to fall short at high level. Just to show this, these are a collection of enemies at about level 155. I've thrown a few lower level ones in there to hopefully get the akimbo buff, but as you can see, it just struggles. It's obviously faction and enemy dependent, but the majority of what people fight nowadays are Grineer / corrupted, so I thought I would just go for straight Grineer, and you can quite clearly see it does kill them, it just struggles to do it, and there are a lot better options in order to do so. The build I end up actually using is pretty basic: Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, Pistol Pestilence, Jolt, Prime Target Attacker, Prime Pistol Gambit, Stunning Speed, and Lethal Torrent. I did experiment with a few other things, but this seemed to be the most former efficient for the capability of the weapon. Anyway, that's me, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys pretty darn soon. Ta-ra!